Hello, I'm Merpman, and welcome to my first video. You can find me at YouTube at Merpman with a 3 for an E, or Rumble, Merpman, straight up, plain up, Merpman. Um, this video is an introduction to the Entwife campaign. And to go more into that, and when I say introduction, that meaning the very, well, introducing the Entwife campaign. My plan is to use the Middle Earth Roleplaying System in conjunction with a ton of Middle Earth lore, background, and knowledge, coupled with a GameMasterless Roleplaying System that I have developed over the years, and years and years, it seems, to answer the question if the Entwives actually do exist somewhere in Middle Earth or they do not. And so, in tackling this epic question, of course, I'm doing it in the only way possible, which is an epic way. Um, I'm planning on, well, using the MERP rules, which I'll briefly go over all three of these, and actually go over what's on the bottom here too. Let's see if we can see this. Sure can. Okay. The Entwife campaign using the MERP rules. I grew up in the time of D&D and Middle Earth role-playing, actually, for that matter. Middle Earth role-playing did come on the scene later than D&D, obviously. But MERP did something that D&D did not, and that's for people who like Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and J.R.R. Tolkien's works. Middle Earth role-playing was set in that fantasy world. The rules in comparison to D&D are, well, I want to say a bit more strict. They're a bit more realistic in the sense that things don't quite get out of hand as far as what can happen at any given time, because, of course, everything is happening in an established world. But also, uh, things like killing somebody with one hit just straight up from hit points is not such an easy thing to do in Middle Earth as in D&D. A lot of topics come up or can come up. The differences between Middle Earth role playing and D&D and other uh, role playing systems that I will cover later. In this introduction, my plan is just to briefly cover each of these elements that I will be using to uh, go through and conduct. Well, conduct sounds like I'm a game master. I'm not. Um, that we're these are the means through which we're going to go and try to find the Entwives. The Middle Earth rules being one, well, at least the first part to look at. The second, the Entwife campaign, the background, the lore, and then behind behind everything. And so when it's epic. It's very epic. When it's easy for those of us who are familiar with the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit to understand everything that happens in northwestern Middle Earth. Well, Middle Earth is quite a bit bigger than that, as this map will show us. All of the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit takes place in just the northwestern part of Middle Earth. Middle Earth, the continent as a whole, is much bigger. In this map that I put together, and when I say put this together, uh, the actual map was done by others, but I put all the roads on this map for the express purpose of the Entwife campaign to help give us a direction and uh, logical path towards the east in order to find the Entwives. And so throughout the books that Tolkien wrote, a majority of the action happens here. And it's interesting to note that the peoples, the attitudes, and the powers that be in this part of the world are different from all of that in the east and to the south. And so J.R.R. Tolkien and Christopher Tolkien have given some indications as to what life is like in this fantasy world in those areas. Actually traveling there through a role-playing system and discovering that, well, that's something else entirely, and is cause for me to use the word epic in the sense of it's a big land that hasn't been explored by gamers that much that I can tell. And for sure, what I plan on doing is to actually go there with a group and see what we can find. Which brings me to the next part. The Entwife campaign I plan on doing or using my GameMasterless Roleplaying System to accomplish that. And one of the main reasons why, well, besides my GameMasterless Roleplaying System is the bomb. I'm just going to say that right now. I wanted to design a system that I myself would like to play, and I have some pretty high standards when it comes to role-playing games and role-playing systems. And the GameMasterless Roleplaying System that I designed is one that I like to play, or I'm willing to play. It still has a couple of bugs to work out here and there. As far as the MERP rules as well, and of course the Entwife campaign background. But the GameMasterless Roleplaying System, for sure, without a doubt, allows us to start on this campaign without knowing exactly how it's going to end for anybody who is actually playing the campaign. If you have a game master, that game master, he or she, is supposed to know the outcome. Supposed to. I know some game masters fly by the seat of his or her pants, and might actually try doing a campaign without knowing whether or not the Entwives are out there to be found. Here, without a game master, we are going out to find whether they exist somewhere or not. And it's all, I want to say all randomized. It's all randomized, but not willy-nilly. Logically randomized, if you will. So the chances of finding Entwives at various places are factored into when we get to those places. And we start looking if we actually find them there or not, or if we find some talk or rumors or however it might turn out to be. Anyway, the GameMasterless Roleplaying System that I designed for that will handle that very well, as you will see in upcoming videos that I do. So this introductory video, I'm just glossing over quickly, trying to get a little bit of interest in those of you who are watching. What all is involved in the Entwife campaign? Of course, the MERP core, well, the MERP core rules plus some Rolemaster add-ons. The lay of the land, the maps, and as much lore and information about those areas of Middle Earth where the Entwifes could be. And that's, yeah, that's a tall order to be sure. The GameMasterless Roleplaying System and everything that that entails, like I say, it is quite, it is. It's pretty much beyond description, as you will see in upcoming videos. Other tools that I have that I'm going to be using for the Entwife campaign include, let's turn this off, right there, a gaming table that I made. Oh, I don't have, it has LED lights around the edge there. I have those turned off at the moment because they tend to throw up a lot of glare. Oh, and I have a light that shines along with the webcam to help light up the front sides of any of the miniatures that go on that gaming board. For everyone who enjoys logistics, there are a lot of logistics that go behind a GameMasterless role-playing system, and turning something that's totally of the imagination in your head into something tactical on a hex grid. Trust me, it's a lot of fun. You'll see there I do some 3D printing. That goofy looking thing is an actual climbable tree, a miniature. I call it my miniature climbable tree, because you can put little miniatures on those green pads, and of course change where those green pads are up or down the tree. My scale is 1 inch equals 5 feet. I have some miniatures that I've made myself, and other miniatures that I've bought, and other miniatures that I've gotten from other games. Of course, all those we'll be using one way or another. I do plan on using Zoom, the conferencing program, to conduct role-playing sessions with multiple people over distances, and through Zoom having them actually point and indicate where they want to move their miniatures and so on and so forth, so that that is possible. Other neat things that I like to show, or I'd like to show before wrapping things up for this introduction, is this. Okay, so the GameMasterless Roleplaying System, that it's almost nauseating, all the different colors and such on my where I roll my dice. But I will be, when I roll my dice, you guys are going to know what the outcome of my dice rolls are going to be. For those folks who are joining through Zoom, we're going to have to use the honor system for them, unless of course they have a way to show their dice rolls. Here's a I do. I think this is so cool, so I have to show you guys. Um, Here is an example of one of the miniatures that I made. This is a miniature that of the character that I'm going to be taking on the Entwife campaign. Anyway, I'm going to show you here. First, that hex grid or the hex base on the bottom anyway is one that I printed up, and it's just printing that guy on paper, rubber cementing him to some cardboard, and sticking him in a little slot there. I also thought it might be nice to put his initials on the back so that if he's facing away from the camera, you know who he is. But now, more important than that, you might say, well, Merp man, why don't you use a better miniature rather than a piece of cardboard stuck in a plastic base? Well, let me show you. This this is a horse. And guess what? That little guy on his plastic base fits just right in there. Ta-da! And now he's riding a horse, just as neat as you please. So if we go back to our big, yep, go back to our hex grid. There he is, riding a horse. I've got a number of little tricks and stuff like that that I've put together for this Entwife campaign. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a trip. Like I say, it's epic. No one that I know of has actually done a campaign, a role-playing campaign to find the Entwives, for one. And of course, no one at all trying or through the use of a GameMasterless role-playing system. And like I say, that system is going to knock your socks off, to be sure. And it's just fun having a setup like this. It's a nice setup. I did build the table myself. It's too darn expensive. I thought it was too darn expensive to go and buy one, so I decided to put one together myself. And I'm going to switch back to here. There we go. Switch back to this for a little bit more. I'm hoping to have a number of people watching. And I'm planning on doing role-playing sessions streaming. And that's going to get a little tricky, considering using Zoom and OBS Studio. One of the reasons why I want, streaming would be fun just because then you can have other people who are watching throw in their 2, 3, or 5 cents worth. But also because of how I designed the GameMasterless Roleplaying System, it actually allows for other people who would be watching through the stream to actually have a chance to dictate what a scene looks like or how a scene plays out. And so that the potential for just a really fun time is off the charts. It's going to be really something else. And so, again, this is just an introduction. My next videos going into each of those categories, will be going in depth into each of one of those to give you guys a good idea of just how this is going to be playing out. And it'll take a little bit of time to do that. Last but not least, another reason why things are looking a little rough and tumble as far as technology, and I'm looking yellow today. Um, it's not as professional as it will eventually be today, but I definitely wanted to record this video today, this day, and upload it to both Rumble and YouTube because I wanted to dedicate this introductory Entwife campaign by Merpman to Amanda. Now Amanda is a gal that I know, and she's having to do some life changes today, and so I wanted to dedicate this, my very first video, to Amanda. And so, just to let you know how geeky I am, I have a Lord of the Rings goblet right here. And though it's right now it's my favorite drink. um, so this is to Amanda. Thank you for everything. I know that as this adventure of mine and other folks is just ready to begin. So I know your adventure is just ready to start as well. I pray that everything goes well, and I'm sure that it will. So, Amanda, let's get this going here. We're having technical difficulties. This light is for you. Oh. Good luck, Amanda. Godspeed and God blessings. The adventure begins with you, Amanda, and here as well. I'm going to leave it at that for now. So this is Merp Man. Again, I'm going to put it up there. YouTube and at Rumble. I'm going to be putting together the epic Entwife campaign through use of Middle Earth Roleplaying. As much information about Middle Earth as possible, and through the use of my own GameMasterless Roleplaying System, and of course with all the junk, all the role-playing stuff that I've accumulated over the years, and it should be a fun time. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and we'll catch you next time. Take care and God bless. Bye-bye.